Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Corbett Report. I'm your host, James Corbett of CorbettReport.com, coming to you in October of 2022 with another edition of Solutions Watch, that series where week in and week out we look at solutions, things that we can do to take power back into our own hands, either in the big picture scheme of things or in the seemingly small details. And sometimes that can be important, as you are about to find out, because today we're going to go on a little exploration, a little journey, and I don't have it all planned out for you. We're going to do it live here together and see what we come up with. Specifically, I am today going to be examining a problem that I know a lot of people encounter who are looking for genuine information about some of these characters that pop up in conspiracy narratives from time to time. And there are no shortage of examples of people that you might find some story passing through the news wires and you might want to know more about that person, but how do you go about finding more info about that person? If only there were some handy-dandy sites that we could use to track information and find some of the hidden deeper details about these people. Well, of course, there are many ways that you can go about doing that, but I'm going to show you some particularly useful sites today in order to do that. And I think some of the more interesting ones are towards the end of this episode. I often structure, by the way, here's a little hint, I often structure the Corbett Report episodes that way, so some of the more useful information is towards the end. Those who listen to James Corbett will be repaid in the end. But let's do it together. Let's explore an example of what this looks like. And as I say, I haven't pre-done any of this, so I don't know what I'm going to end up with. Let's find out. So let's start at CorbettReport.com. Of course, this is where you start with all your searching, right? Well, this is not necessarily the one and only place where you can get all the information you'll ever need on anyone, but hey, sometimes you do. So today, let's look at Peter Thiel, who, as I'm sure people know off the top of their head, something to do with PayPal and, wasn't he Palantir? What is Palantir? Anyway, well, all your questions can be answered. All of this information is at your fingertips. Let's see how you can go about doing that. So here we are on CorbettReport.com, and we're going to avail ourselves of the handy-dandy search bar to search for Thiel and see what comes up. I really don't know what I have. Okay, so we have this editorial about the bigger picture of Israeli cyber spying, and we will click through to the free access editorial because all of my work is for free, in case you didn't know. And let's just do a find for Thiel. Oh yeah, okay, so he's mentioned here in regards to Carbine 911, related to the X-8200 crowd from Israel's cyber spies. And so people can read about this and how this is tied into this question of Israel cyber spying. But I believe that's the only mention of Thiel in there. All right, let's go back and see what else we've got. How the plunge protection team rigs the markets. Now that's interesting. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that in this case, it's probably not even in the editorial proper. It's probably in the recommended reading and viewing. So in that case, it's probably linked to some other article. The Secrets of Silicon Valley. All right, now I'm sure there will be some stuff in here, right, talking about the Facebook and Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, first major investment in Facebook, $500,000, and then how Thiel was connected to, for example, James Breyer on the National Venture Capital Association, how that ultimately connects into In-Q-Tel. That's an interesting part of the Peter Thiel story that you don't often see reflected in mainstream reporting, and there's some more there about Palantir, for example, and you can get some links to some of the articles that you can start diving into some of Peter Thiel's connections. All right, so there you go. So just typing in the name in the Corbett Report search bar, you'll find a number of different things that relate to that. Oh, the brain chip cometh, obviously talking about Elon Musk and his relation to Peter Thiel. So there's a lot of information in there that you can find just from the Corbett Report website. So as I say, I don't have information on everyone and anyone, but sometimes there are some valuable things in there that you might want to check out. All right, now let's say you're Joe Q Normie and you want to find out more about Peter Thiel. Let's go to Joe Q Normie site, Google. I don't even know how to get rid of this garbage from the screen because I never go here, but this is just for a joke, really. Let's see what they have about good old Peter Thiel. So I'm going to type that in. Yeah, let's change to English, sure. All right. Peter Thiel, blah, blah, blah. On the dangers of progress. So there's some news articles with him. There's, of course, you're going to get the Wikipedia, which, just for fun, let's click on that and see what we can find. Okay, venture capitalist, political activist, co-founder of PayPal, Palantir Technologies, and Founders Fund, which is a San Francisco-based venture capital firm, which formed in 2005 and has more than $11 billion in aggregate capital management. So you could explore more about Founders Fund and what it's invested in. He was the first outside investor in Facebook, estimated net worth of $7 billion, blah, 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 yada, yada. And then you can find more information about, again, as I always say, it's not like Wikipedia is always wrong about everything. There are certain facts that you can find out here, and probably more important is when you find a fact that's interesting, always check the source and go to the actual article that they're citing and then find out from there, okay, the PayPal mafia, who are they and where are Silicon Valley's richest group of men now? Like, these types of articles sometimes do contain important information. So I'm not completely dismissing Wikipedia. It's just not necessarily the place I would start for a deeper dive. Maybe basic biographical details and sort of the surface, if you want to know what the mainstream sort of acceptable opinion on this or that is. You could always, of course, check Wikipedia for that. But again, this is the type of stuff you're going to find on Google. Okay, you find his official, okay, so at the Founders Fund, here's his biography and things like this. But again, of course, this is all just the mainstream gloss. That's all you're going to find on Google is that. I'm assuming if you're searching for someone specific like this, it's because you want to go a little bit deeper than that. So, well, how about a different search engine? I don't use it myself very often, but I hear a lot of people talking about Swiss cows. Let's give it a try. Let's see what they come up with. Peter Thiel. I'm going to guess Wikipedia is probably going to be number one, right? That's what everyone does. Yep. Wikipedia. Japanese? English? All right, cool. Forbes. Okay, and then a lot of Japanese results, actually. And I don't immediately know. Oh, okay. So, yeah. I mean, whatever. Oh, Espanol. Well, now we can get a lot of Spanish search results, but U.S. based. How about Peter Thiel became the one? So again, yeah, it's going. If you just put in the basic search, it's going to be all the sort of mainstream, trusted news sources first and foremost, pretty much in any search engine these days. Okay, so that's all pretty much as expected. Let's start to see if we can find some better ways of finding information about people and events. So let's go to SourceWatch. SourceWatch.org. Maybe you have heard of this. Maybe you haven't. And if you haven't, here's an opportunity to learn more about it. It's called SourceWatch, and we track corporations and PR spin. And it's about the Center for Media and Democracy publishes SourceWatch to track corporations. Now, this can be useful. They do have some information, as we're going to see. You can get some information from here, but always keep in mind the source. Who is the Center for Media and Democracy, and why are they putting together SourceWatch? Well, if you go to the page that they link up here, it's going to tell you, oh, okay, PR Watch, what we do. The Center for Media and Democracy is a nationally recognized watchdog that leads in-depth, award-winning investigations into the corruption that undermines our democracy, environment, and economic prosperity. All right, immediately, you already know this is going to be slant towards mainstream left Democrat sort of viewpoint. And that's immediately confirmed by the fact that this entire, apparently this website, this whole thing is set up specifically to counter the Koch brothers and their network of billionaires. Because we know it's those evil right-wing, they call themselves libertarian but aren't really libertarian, Koch brothers, one of whom is deceased now, right? Who are the boogeyman, the bugbear of people like George Soros and others. The billionaires on the left that are, of course, great billionaires. No, it's the Koch brothers and their network of billionaires on the right that are the bad ones. So that's fundamentally where this is coming from. And as I say, some of this information is important and does good work. But I just wonder if we go far down enough here and find out about their funding, I wonder where they get funding from. Okay, a lot of, foundations and things like that, the kind of stuff that you would expect. But oh, look at that, Tides Foundation. Now, who is the Tides Foundation again? I'll let you look that one up if you don't know. But anyway, all right, so that being what it is, let's start on SourceWatch and let's find Peter Thiel and see what comes up. I really have no idea what they're going to have on them. Okay, so it's fund manager, venture capitalist, blah, 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 research fellow and member of the board of directors of the Independent Institute, founder and managing member of Clarium Capital Management, Teal Capital, Confinity, Credit Suisse, securities lawyer. Really? I didn't know he'd worked as a securities lawyer for Sullivan and Cromwell. An interesting firm, which I'm assuming they have more information about. One of New York's elite law firms, known for its strong international presence. S&C has been handling the bulk of Microsoft work since 1992, which already, including the various antitrust cases, already tells you something about them. But there's not a lot here, really. And yeah, the link is a link to their homepage. So anyway, okay. Influencing the 2012 election. All right, here's some dirt that might be interesting. During the 2012 election cycle, Teal was a major supporter of Club for Growth's Super PAC, Club for Growth Action. Teal gave the group $2 million in two donations in the summer of 2012. Teal was also the primary donor to Endorse Liberty, was a major supporter of Ron Paul in the 2012 election cycle, citation needed. Teal gave the group a total of $2.5 million in various donations from 2011 to 2012. Well, there's a citation, and that's going to go to opensecrets.org, donor detail for Peter Thiel. I am a human. Yes, I am. Oh, isn't this fun? Man, don't you just love the internet these days? It's just so much. I just love proving that I'm a human. It's so wonderful. You know, eventually the algorithms are going to set up, are you a bot? And you're going to have to do some sort of quadratic equation in under 1 second in order to get into the site. You're a human? Yeah, get out of here. Okay, so anyway, here's another thing, opensecrets.org, following the money in politics, and you can get information on specific donations that he has made that are in the public record. They're going to, and these are all up to 2012. I wonder if that means he stopped donating after that point, or if there's more. Anyway, there's certainly more to explore here. Club for Growth Action, Endorse Liberty, Revolution PAC, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you can look more into that if you are so inclined, if that's the particular detail you're looking for. And then there's a bit of education and political involvement. All right. Okay. Well, there's a little bit in here, but again, it's mostly concentrating on, look at this guy supporting these evil right-wing politicians. I think we can go a little bit further on who Peter Thiel is and why he's important. So let's try a different source. This time, I've talked about it before, the game that Brock and I play sometimes. Well, is he on the World Economic Forum website? Let's find out. Peter Thiel. And you better believe, yeah, there he is. World Economic Forum people, Peter A. Thiel. Now, is he actually associated? Like, is he actually sitting on a board of the World Economic Forum or something? Or is there just a profile of him? Well, in this case, it looks like, yeah, just a profile. Well, let's read through and make sure. President of Clarium Capital, global macro hedge fund with offices in San Francisco and New York, oversees the firm's research, investment, and trading strategies. Also a partner in the Founders Fund, a $50 million venture capital firm. I thought we just saw that a much different number for that. Anyway, in addition to managing Clarium, Thiel is active in a variety of philanthropic and educational pursuits. Sits on the board of directors of Pacific Research Institute, board of visitors of Stanford Law, boards of nonprofit educational organizations such as Stanford Law, where he's also taught, and the Hoover Institution. Before starting Clarium, he served as chairman and CEO of PayPal Inc., an internet company he co-founded in 1998 that was acquired by eBay for US $1.5 billion. Thiel began his financial career as a derivatives trader at CS Financial Products after practicing securities law at Sullivan and Cromwell. And he received a BA in philosophy from Stanford and a JD from Stanford Law. All right. A basic biographical sketch with some facts in there that you could pursue if you're so inclined, but really nothing much deeper than you would get out of Wikipedia. In fact, less, because you don't even get citations or anything. And yes, he's not actually a World Economic Forum board member or something like that. He does have a profile here, and there are definitely articles here that do mention him and talk about Peter Thiel in various ways. But again, it might be a source of information, but maybe not the most useful. Let's start getting into the more useful and more interesting sites. Things, wouldn't it be great if someone created a website where you could search for someone's name or organization or whatever, and we could find out all their connections and what they've donated and all these sorts of things. We could really do deep dives onto people and organizations. Oh, there are such sites. Here's one of them. It's called LittleSis, and I don't really know anything about the founding of this. Let's click on about, actually. Let's find out a little more. What do they say about it? LittleSis is a free database detailing the connections between powerful people and organizations. Now that could be very handy, couldn't it? We bring transparency to influential social networks by tracking key relationships of politicians, business leaders, lobbyists, financiers, and their affiliated institutions. Who do the wealthiest Americans donate their money to? Where did White House officials work before they were appointed? Which lobbyists are married to politicians, and who do they lobby for? Yeah, potentially very interesting information. All of this information is public, but scattered. We bring it together in one place. All right, but who are you, and how are you funded, and what's your take? LittleSis is meant to support the work of journalists, watchdogs, and grassroots activists. All right, okay. LittleSis is built and maintained by a nonprofit think and do tank. Public Accountability Initiative, a 501c3 organization founded on corporate and government accountability. Our mission is to facilitate and produce investigative research that promotes transparent and accountable governance. PAI was founded in early 2008 by a group of activists, public interest lawyers, and academics associated with leading universities and major social change organizations. That could mean a lot of things. Hey, just as a little bit of fun, let's do the inception here. So, Public Accountability Initiative. Let's see what LittleSis has to say about who it is. The Public Accountability Initiative. All right, it's in the LittleSis database. So let's just follow this web. Leadership and staff. So we can follow these various names and find out more. The name Galbraith immediately jumps out of me because I'm thinking of the historian. But anyway. All right, donors. Open Society. There you go. It's our old friend, business magnate George Soros. So there you go. Isn't it interesting? A lot of these types of sites are funded by the left. And these left billionaire vermin who are very much part of the problem. Let's keep following this rabbit hole. What are they going to say about Open Society? Let's go down to let's find out more about George Soros. Oh, he's not even going to be listed by name here, is he? Because he's not officially a leadership or staff. He's just the money man. Just humor me here. I feel like I'm going to get somewhere with this. Well, let's go to interlocks. Orgs with common people. Ford Foundation. Interesting. Giving. So who does it give to? Friends of Democracy. Blah, blah, blah. Media Matters. Yeah, of course. Yeah. About what you would expect. Anyway, I won't continue following this rabbit hole. But anyway, it's good to know where LittleSis comes from and that it's going to be skewed. But let's continue with our little task today. Peter Thiel. And here he is as both a billionaire venture capitalist, PayPal and Palantir co-founder, and chess prodigy, all right, as well as vice president corporate development at AutoNation? What? I'm assuming this is a different Peter Thiel. That's really weird. All right, well, maybe it's the same one, but anyway, this is the billionaire venture capitalist that we all know and love? Question mark? Anyway, and so it's got information on his various business positions, board memberships, and donations, federal election campaign contributions again. 21. Okay, so this one seems more up to date than that other one that we were looking at earlier. All right, Yep, interlocks. And so lots and lots of rabbit holes to go down here. Okay, so people with positions in the same organizations as Peter Thiel, and here are the common organizations. And so you can go down the Meta rabbit hole and Hoover Institution and Halcyon Molecular and whatever. There's lots of different rabbit holes to follow here. Recipients of donations from Peter Thiel also received donations from these organizations. Now there you go. You start to get into 6 degrees of separation here. Okay, so other people who have also donated to similar organizations as Peter Thiel are, which could be useful, but could be grasping at straws. But anyway, that's up for you to decide. And then there's a data where you can look at various ways that he has given money or used his money. Basic info, external links. Of course, it's going to be Wikipedia, but what is this? Sec Edgar. Off the top of my head, I don't know what that means. Oh, it's sec.gov. All right. Edgar, the Security and Exchange Commission search thing with all the documents where you can find out various statements that he's made. So that's, again, this is handy for research, like real deep dive research if you want to know and get access to documents. So there's information in here, sure. But let's go one step further. I think we can still do better, because so far we haven't seen some of the more interesting connections that are going on here. So we're going to go to a completely different website, one that I hope you know about, but maybe you don't. It's called Wikispooks, an encyclopedia of deep politics. And let's go to their FAQ, because I'm pretty sure this isn't Soros founded. But let's find out. What is the site? What information is here? Is it based on Wikipedia? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, Wikispooks was set up initially as a leak site with wiki functionality. It turned out that so much information is already publicly available. Open source intelligence. The more important function is the wiki aspect, notably missing from WikiLeaks. The site closed the anonymous submissions facility in January 2017. The site is not for leaking documents. It is a wiki used to try and organize and analyze information already in the public domain. What information is here? This site focuses on deep politics, especially the post-World War II evolution of the US deep state and subsequent formation of the supranational deep state. And they even have a link to, presumably, an article about that. SDS, Supranational Deep State. The deep state, for short, is sometimes just is the alliance of formerly distinct deep states, which coalesced in the second half of the 20th century, demonstrably working as a coherent whole in time for the 9/11 cover-up. And you can get some more information on some of the foundations of this SDS, the Safari Club, Le Cercle. I'm Canadian, folks, honest. Terrorism, September 11th, all right. Premature deaths, all right. So lots, again, interesting. This is a rabbit hole I already want to start falling down. But yeah, okay, is it based on Wikipedia? Yes, we use the same software, MediaWiki, and no, it's configured differently and has different content. Although one or pages have imported material. One or more? I don't know. The vast majority of material you will not find on Wikipedia. Is the site censored? If you can access the site from your nation state, then it seems not. DNS censorship. Why is there nothing about topic X? The material on this site reflects the interests of our editors. Wikispooks has 30,081 pages as compared to Wikipedia's millions, so the site is inevitably patchy. Unlike Wikipedia, which is censored, our omissions result from a simple lack of editors. If you're knowledgeable about a particular topic and wish to share your knowledge for the common good without fear or favor, you are welcome to join our team of 812 editors and contribute your insight to the project. All right, and there's a join our team link where you can find out more information about that. Is it English only? Unfortunately, yes. Foreign language sources may be cited, but documents should be posted on the site. Should be in English. maybe there's some English that could be revised here, but anyway. Okay, is it a fake news site? How do I know if it's not a honeypot? Blah, blah, blah. All good questions. Surely, always maintain your healthy skepticism about any source of information. But the point of a site like this, as always, is not the site itself. It is what information it can verifiably point you to. So let's find out. Let's do the test. Let's find out what they have to say about Peter Thiel. Now, what do they say? Unlike every source we've seen so far, immediately a billionaire member of the Bilderberg Steering Committee. Oh, Bilderberg! This is the first time, at least in the cursory searching we've done, that the name Bilderberg has even come up. So yeah, that might be an important connection that people in the Corbett Report audience would like to know about the reality of Peter Thiel. So it's right off the top, front and center in Wikispooks, which I appreciate. Whom Sam Biddle described for The Intercept in 2017 as one of the American political mainstream's most notorious figures. His first Bilderberg was in 2008, and he has attended all subsequent meetings since 2012, together with co-founder of Palantir, Alex Karp. Oh, okay, well there's a connection that I hadn't seen yet. Oh, Alex Karp, co-founder of Palantir, and attended every Bilderberg meeting since 2012. Comments on Facebook. Yeah, and here's some sources where you can start delving into it. Who is this guy and why is he important? All right. So, and then we can go through again. Career, this is going to look something like the Wikipedia. Sullivan and Cromwell founded Palantir. Citizenship, born in Germany, granted New Zealand citizenship in 2011 after donation. I didn't even know that, actually. And where does that come from? That comes from this Bloomberg article. You could click through for more info on that. Politics, he describes himself as a quote-unquote libertarian, which I appreciate because, I think he is not a libertarian. But anyway, Thiel has been funding private research into a range of topics, from helping to extend the human lifespan to the harnessing of fusion power. I'm looking into parabiosis stuff, which I think is really interesting. What is parabiosis? Oh, they don't have a entry on it yet because someone has not created one yet. So if you want to join the editor team and create a page on parabiosis, that might be helpful. Anyway, related quotation, Elon Musk, despite having perhaps the greatest entrepreneurial streak of all the PayPal mafia, Musk was purged from PayPal like some kind of toxin soon after the merger. Thiel resigned. So this is from that Fortune article that they're citing here. And then there's, again, events participated in, and it lists every Bilderberg that he's attended, which is all of them. And also the World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos. There you go, in 2013. Really? Only 2013? Well, at least that's the one that I guess they have sourcing on. I would be surprised if he's only been there. But anyway, we're starting to get into some of the more interesting stuff. And then really the interesting stuff when you start to get into what is Palantir anyway? What company is this? What does it do? And how is it structured? And a software company with a reputation for secrecy which focuses on mass surveillance and data analysis, closely connected to the MICC. What's MICC? Oh, the Military Industrial Congressional Complex. Okay, and then you can read about the history of that. Blah, 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 activities, ownership, Cambridge Analytica, COVID-19. In early April, the Silicon Valley company said its technology is helping officials predict the locations of outbreak and determine where to deploy medical staff and supplies. But the initiative is testing government's ability to balance privacy with public health, because the government is concerned about your privacy, guys. Okay, anyway, this is just an example. We're not going to do the Peter Thiel deep dive today, but we could. And here are some sources to do it. There are mainstream sources, and you can find information from them. Sure, why not? But I think when you start to get towards Wikispooks, you start to get a little bit closer to what I think my audience is probably primarily concerned with. Having said that, I'm sure Wikispooks is not the only site of this particular variety out there, right? There must be more. Well, hopefully, some helpful people in the Corbett Report community will be able to clue us in on other sites that can do this, or maybe they want to join as an editor for a site like Wikispooks and start creating pages and adding information and sourcing documents. I have seen, in the 15 years I've been doing this now, I have seen many iterations of this come and go, and people saying, I'm starting a new wiki, and anyone can contribute, and it's going to be about the New World Order, and it's going to blah, blah, blah. And they get really passionate about it and really excited for a few months, and they'll create personally a couple hundred entries on their wiki to get it going, and they'll appear on this or that podcast or radio show to try to promote it. And then it'll go to the wayside. And I've seen that happen many times because it is the toughest nut to crack. How do you keep something like this going and growing? It's extremely difficult. So rather than reinventing the wheel, I think it would perhaps be more beneficial for people to join an already existing project like this and then to start creating the content that they want. And if they suddenly start getting censored or whatever, then okay, well, maybe this isn't what it claims to be, and that would be valuable information to have. But anyway, this idea, I think, is important, and it really can be helpful when you really want to start doing deep dive research, getting more into something like Palantir. Again, I'm sure a lot of people in the Corbett Report audience have heard about it before, but maybe don't know about it. Or you hear a name like Peter Thiel and okay, this guy's somehow vaguely, I know he's a billionaire who's doing bad things, but what? I don't know. It's helpful to have sites like this so you can start diving into it. And as always, the most important part of all these sites, I think, is the sources, so that you can go follow into the source material in various articles and things to really start deep diving. But anyway, I just wanted to raise this issue because obviously it's something I encounter all the time doing research for the Corbett Report, and I think it would be handy for people even who are not necessarily researchers themselves, but just want to get a better handle on some of these people and players. Having said all that, I'm going to leave it here. As always, I invite your participation and feedback, specifically Corbett Report members. Log into CorbettReport.com. Leave your information, your feedback in the comment section. Do you know another site like this that you think is handy for people to know about? Do you have any feedback on any of these sites? Leave it in the Corbett Report comment section. All the other comment sections on all the other social media platforms are unimportant. So, having said that, I won't do the disservice to you of including every single link to everything I just searched on screen for you. You can follow along if you want to do so. You are intelligent, capable human adults. You don't need a link in the show notes for all of that. But I will put the link into LittleSis and Wikispooks and the other sites that we talked about today. Having said that, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Solutions Watch. I'm James Corbett of CorbettReport.com. Looking forward to talking to you again in the near future.